Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to our Career Success Symposium. My name is Oriana. I am a senior HR analyst at the County of Santa Clara HR Department, also known as the ESA, Employee Services Agency. And this is the first in series of our webinars designed to provide more information about working for the County of Santa Clara. Welcome. Before we dive in, I would love to get to know you all a bit better. So I see we already have 52 attendees online. I would love to have you answer this question for me. Drop it in the chat. What is one thing you're hoping to learn or take away from today's session? Can you help me to share your thought in the chat? Hello. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Opportunities with the County of Santa Clara. Great question. Resume and interview ideas. Thank you for dropping that. Anyone else? That's something you want to learn today? Tips and tricks. Perfect. Navigating the application process for the county. Yes, for sure. We're going to cover that. Look forward to career opportunities. Thank you all. Good afternoon. Wonderful. I see a lot of the subjects that y'all are dropping in the chat are going to be covered. I'm glad. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all. And today, I'm super excited to have my colleagues here with me. I have Michelle Kwong online and Taylor Alcala. Michelle is our Assistant Director at HR Department. Michelle, could you say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're super excited to share some tips and tricks and just insight as a whole for employment opportunities at the county. So I hope to hear some of your questions later today.
Thank you, Michelle. And now I'd like to introduce my team member, Taylor. Taylor, please say hi.
Hello, everyone. Like Oriana said, my name is Taylor. I'm an HR analyst with the County of Santa Clara, and thank you all for taking the time to join us today. I hope you find this information helpful with your career searches and hopefully give you some good advice on our application tips and tricks as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Taylor. I see some good questions in the chat already. That's wonderful. So I'd like to tell you, share some couple of things so you can get the most of this session. So first, if you have any questions during this session, please drop them in Q&A at the bottom of your screen, because I have a whole team of my colleagues online to assist with answering your questions today. And we'll try to address them live to ensure you get the information you need. Second, for those who are joining us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Meta, YouTube channel, the comments are not being monitored in real time, but we'll try to respond as quickly as we can. And lastly, yes, the session will be recorded and the slides will be shared with all of you, all of the material. And then they will live on our social media accounts as well as our YouTube channel that we just mentioned. So I hope I got to the questions about this session in the chat. So let's talk about the agenda. So today's session, we're dividing them into two parts. Part one, we'll be sharing a lot of valuable information prepared for all of you. And part two, we'll open it up for questions. So let's get started. Taylor, can you tell us more about the information that will be shared with everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So we ran a poll on LinkedIn and received more than 600 responses about what you all wanted to learn more about. So we took the two topics that got the most interest from our followers, and we'll be going into more detail on those.
Wonderful. Without further ado, let's get started.
During this session, we'll cover various topics, including an overview of our career opportunities, job searches, and application tips and tricks. The County of Santa Clara is located in the heart of Silicon Valley. We serve over 1.9 million residents by providing essential services such as law enforcement, healthcare, social services, and economic support. Our mission is to act as a safety net for vulnerable populations and promote a vibrant, thriving community for future generations. The County of Santa Clara has 24,000 employees and is one of the largest employers in Silicon Valley. We offer a diverse mix of job opportunities across 5 main sectors: healthcare, human services, law enforcement and public safety, government operations, and infrastructure. No matter your background or interest, there's likely a role here that aligns with your skills and career goals. I'd like to start by telling you more about some of our key departments. First, our largest division with almost half of our employees, healthcare. The County of Santa Clara's health system is dedicated to providing comprehensive healthcare services to all residents, particularly underserved and vulnerable populations. The county operates 3 hospitals: Santa Clara Valley Medical Center, O'Connor Hospital, and St. Louis Regional Medical Center, and community clinics all over the county. This is the largest county-owned health and hospital system in Northern California, and we are committed to improving the health of all of our residents. The system also includes the following departments. We have the Behavioral Health Services Department, which supports individuals with mental health and substance use issues. The Public Health Department, which works to promote community health. And Custody Health Services, which provides healthcare within county correctional facilities. Now let's explore some specific roles within our health system. We have lots of opportunities from entry-level to senior roles, but some of the positions we are almost always hiring for include clinical nurses, marriage and family therapists, psychiatric social workers, and psychologists. Next, let's discuss roles in human and social services, where you can make a direct impact on people's lives. Some examples of key departments in this area include the Social Services Agency, or SSA, which provides a range of supportive services to protect vulnerable children, families, and older adults. And the Office of Supportive Housing, which prevents homelessness by increasing access to housing and supportive services. Some of the roles we commonly recruit for in these departments are social workers and program managers. Now let's shift our focus to public safety and justice, another critical area within the county. The county offers various roles in law enforcement and public safety. The Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office is one of the longest-standing law enforcement agencies in California and employs more than 2,000 staff. The Santa Clara County 911 Communications Department, which responds to emergency calls and dispatches emergency services. Here are a few specific roles within public safety that we regularly hire for. We have deputy sheriffs. These are first responders that safeguard our communities by patrolling and providing emergency response. We have the sheriff's correctional deputies. These officers maintain security and order within correctional facilities. And we have the 911 communication dispatchers. These workers are our community's lifeline during emergencies by fielding 911 calls and dispatching help. Now let's talk about roles within our large and diverse government operations unit. This area covers a wide range of functions that ensure smooth and efficient service delivery to the public and keep our county organization running. A few examples of these departments include our Employee Services Agency. This is our county's Human Resources Department. The Controller Treasurer Department, which administers finance and accounting systems. And Technology Services and Solutions, or TSS. This is the county's primary information technology provider. While this area is large and diverse, a few specific roles that we frequently hire for include management analyst, accountant, senior IT manager, and translator. Next, let's talk about county public works and infrastructure. These departments work to maintain our community's environment and public services. Here are a few examples of these critical departments. We have the Roads and Airports Department, which maintains the county's roadways and airports. The Facilities and Fleet Department, which maintains county-owned buildings and vehicles, including emergency operation vehicles. The Department of Planning and Development, which balances regional development with community safety. And the Vector Control District, which manages pests and works to reduce vector-borne diseases. A few roles we have recently recruited for in these departments include roofers, communications cable installers, fleet services mechanic, and building inspectors. While we share just a few roles in each of these areas, you can view all of our current job opportunities on our website at secjobs.org, which I will go to now, and we can walk through our job board together. All right, so if we type in scjobs.org in our web browsers, it will take us to our Employee Services Agency homepage. Before we take a look at the open positions, I just wanted to quickly highlight the other useful information on this page. So here you can register to hear about job recruitments. You can learn about the benefits the county offers and our career and community events calendar. If we scroll down, we can find the different departments that I highlighted previously. And if you know what department you're interested in, you could take a look at all of their open positions through here. Here we have our entry-level opportunities and our student internships program, and we'll touch more about these as well. And if we scroll down, we can find all of our social media links. So if you're not following us already, please be sure to do so, as we're regularly posting new recruitments and where we'll be at for future career and community events. But let's go ahead and scroll back up to the top and take a look at the open positions that we have currently. So this will take us to governmentjobs.com. This is our primary job board. And here we are on the open competitive job opportunities section. And that essentially means that it is open for the entire public to apply to. Here it's listed, sorted under job title, job type. We have the salary ranges, the closing and posted dates, the category the job falls under, the department the job is in, and where the job is located. Here, this number shows you the number of jobs posted today, and this is always changing as there are new positions being added daily and ones that are closing. So if you wanted to filter by a certain department, you could take a look through here and click on as many departments as you would like and see their positions that they have open currently. If you know what job category you're interested in, you can click on these and filter through this section as well. And there are a lot of different job categories, so if you're looking through this area, please be sure to look through these carefully. We have the job types, so if you're an executive looking for a job, or you're looking for extra help, part-time, full-time, you can filter through that. You can filter through the estimated annual salary. So many different ways you can find the right job for you. Let's go ahead and go back and click on the Animal Services Assistant. So right off the bat, I just wanted to highlight the closing date. So this position will close on July 30th at 11:59. So that means no more applications will be taken on that day and time. So if you're seeing this closing date or any other closing dates, just be sure to get your application in before that deadline. You can take a look at the job description, as well as an online written exam that is required for those applicants who meet the employment standards. Here we have the typical tasks, and these are essentially the duties performed by employees in this position. So what you'll be doing on a day-to-day. And then we have the employment standards, which is important to highlight because this, we'll go into more detail on this, but this is essentially the minimum qualifications that we're looking for when we review applications. And if there are any other certifications or licenses required, in addition to meeting the employment standards, they will be listed here. And this position does have certifications that are required. One thing to highlight here, it says this one must be obtained during the probationary period. So there is a 9-month probationary period. So they give you some time to acquire this certification through the 9-month period. And then we have the benefits tab, which you can learn more about the different various county benefits that we have. And then we have our supplemental questions portion. So these are questions specifically related to this position, and we'll go into more detail on this. But our best advice is that you're super detailed in your responses to these questions, as these help us determine your eligibility to meet those employment standards. But it's important that you look through these as well. And if you're interested in applying, you can go ahead and click the apply button on the top right of your screen, and it will take you to NeoGov or have you make an account and apply through there. Let's go back to the home page and click on the menu button. I wanted to quickly highlight our job interest notifications. So here we have all of our different job categories that we have that positions are under. So if you're not seeing a position that you're interested in and you're seeing job categories that you're interested in, you can go ahead and click on as many as you would like, and you can subscribe to receive email notifications when positions under that category go live. So it's always important to get that alert on the first day when applications are accepted. So to recap, if you're reviewing the current job openings and you don't see anything open that's relevant to you right now, please don't be discouraged. We're always posting new opportunities, so please join our email list to stay updated on new opportunities that might be a good fit. To do so, fill out our job interest notification form, which I just showed you, which is accessible from our website at sccjobs.org. The County of Santa Clara offers several special programs and opportunities to support your career at various stages. If you're an executive manager or director looking to advance your career, you can explore multidisciplinary executive leadership opportunities and learn about our generous executive leadership benefits. For current high school and college students, we offer a student intern program. If you've been out of work to care for children or a family member, we have a caregiver returnship program to help you re-enter the workforce. We'll provide links for you to learn more about this information at the end of this session. We often get asked, I have a background in education or retail or construction or accounting, but I don't see any openings online. What should I do? We recommend you look beyond the job titles and focus on the job descriptions. This will help you find the right fit and identify opportunities that align with your expertise. Let's take one for example. Our HR department hires for various titles. They may not specifically mention human resources in the job title. For example, positions like management analyst or associate management analyst are widely used across the county. In our HR department, these roles often involve recruitment tasks. However, in a healthcare department, an analyst might be focused on running reports and managing projects. To find opportunities that match your skills, be sure to subscribe to get our job interest notification alerts. This way you can stay updated on openings that may fit your background, even if the job titles aren't what you might expect. No matter your situation, we're committed to helping you find a path to a fulfilling career, and we thank you for considering Santa Clara County as your next step. Before we wrap up, I'd like to talk about our hiring process and share some tips and tricks to help your application stand out. First, let's talk about our hiring process from the time you submit your application to the interview stage. The overall process typically takes between 2 to 6 weeks. Step 1 is to apply online. Once you identify a job opportunity that you're interested in, carefully review the employment standards section of the job posting which lists the minimum qualifications for the position. One thing to note, government jobs like those here at the County of Santa Clara have very clear and somewhat rigid requirements. Unlike the private sector where there might be some flexibility to accept candidates who don't meet the listed qualifications, we adhere to specific standards that leave no room for interpretation. This means our job descriptions and requirements are precise, and there's no ambiguity about what experience is required. That's why it's so important to review the employment standards section carefully. That said, if you're all at all unsure about whether you meet these minimum requirements, I encourage you to apply anyway. We recognize that there might be great candidates with valuable experience who might still fit the role. Next, click on the Apply Now button to submit your application. Another tip is to be sure to answer all those supplemental questions thoroughly. This is your opportunity to share your skill set and highlight your qualifications. The more detailed your response is, the better chances of standing out to the hiring departments. Do you see more than one job opportunity that you think you'd be a good fit for? Then apply for all of them. Applying for multiple positions will not negatively affect your chances of being hired. In fact, it can increase your chance of finding the best fit for your skills and experience. Step 2 is the appeal period. If your application does not meet the employment standards and/or competencies listed on the job bulletin, you may receive a rejection notice. One interesting feature of our hiring process is that even if you're initially rejected, or clarification of your work history and qualifications. Simply follow the directions in the email you get to send in more information. Step 3 is the testing phase. Qualified candidates will then be invited for a test. These assessments are designed to evaluate your skills and suitability for the position. Types of tests may include written, oral, physical or performance, and/or a competitive rating assessment. We'll share a link with some test-taking tips at the end of this session. Referral of the eligible list. After you submit your application and it's determined that you meet the minimum qualifications, you'll be placed on an eligible list. This list is a pool of candidates who are eligible for the next steps in the hiring process. Candidates on the eligible list are ranked based on their testing score, experience, work history, or other relevant factors. Typically, the top 10 candidates plus any ties are referred to departments for interviews for each opening. However, there might be slight variations in referrals depending on specific business needs for some positions. Step 5 is the interview stage. The hiring department will schedule and conduct interviews with the candidates on the eligible list. This is your chance to further demonstrate your fit for the role and to learn more about the position and team you may be joining. If you receive an email that says you qualify for an interview, be sure to respond to the department within 3 days to let them know you're interested in scheduling an interview. Types of interviews may include phone screenings, panels, committees, or group interviews, and is all dependent on the type of recruitment and/or department itself. It could be in person or virtual. Here are some essential tips and tricks for submitting a successful application. Document your experience completely. Ensure your application shows you meet the employment standards listed on the job description. Provide all requested information. Include all relevant jobs, internships, or volunteer activities with detailed information such as start and end dates, hours worked per week, contact information for previous employers, and reasons for leaving. Answer those supplemental questions thoroughly. Be specific and detailed. Never enter C resume or C application, as these responses are not acceptable and may result in rejection. Start early. Give yourself plenty of time to complete the application to avoid last-minute issues. Check your contact information. Ensure your phone number and email address are correct for communication regarding your application status. Check your email and your spam folder regularly. Throughout the hiring process, we will send you emails to keep you updated on your status. Be sure you're checking your email regularly so you don't miss any important deadlines. Attach required documents. Confirm that all required attachments are included before submitting your application. Include certificates or licenses. Add any specialized training or licenses relevant to the position. Highlight your skills. Mention any relevant skills such as software knowledge or technical proficiencies. And add your references. Include any professional and personal references who can speak to your work history and character. Next, I just want to share some of the resources that I spoke about earlier. So first, I have our entry-level opportunities page. So I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat. And here you can find more information based on entry-level opportunities that we have. Here is their contact information. So if you go ahead and click on Account Clerk 1, I believe this position is not active now, but if you want to subscribe and be alerted when it goes live, you can do so there. But that is our job, or that is our entry-level career opportunities page. Next, I wanted to take you to our job search toolkit. So this is a great kind of one-stop shop to walk you through our application guide and help better prepare for the written and oral exams as well. We'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat. And then lastly, I wanted to share our executive leadership page. So if you're an executive looking for a position, this is their main page, and you can find more information about them as well. Some of the different benefits we have. Here are our executive services staff within ESA, and some testimonials from executives within the County of Santa Clara as a whole. So go ahead and drop all of those links for you in the chat for you to bookmark as well. So, sometimes applicants suggest that our application system is intentionally confusing and biased to favor those who have a connection within the county. But that couldn't be further from the truth. At the County of Santa Clara, we pride ourselves on a very strong merit system, which is our policies and procedures that were designed to ensure there is no bias in our hiring process, and we maintain an equitable and transparent hiring process. So rest assured, your application will be evaluated fairly, and sometimes people wonder if their application was screened by a robot with eligibility decisions based solely on keywords, and this is not true. Every application we receive is read and evaluated by our recruiters, meaning real people review your qualifications, your experience, and your responses. We carefully assess each application to ensure every candidate gets a fair evaluation. At the county, we have a group of recruiters that operate much like those in private companies. We engage through outreach, social media, and community events, and we also reach out on platforms like LinkedIn. If you're interested in connecting with us, feel free to visit our event page to find out where we will be, or simply accept our message on LinkedIn to start a conversation, and we look forward to talking with you. In closing, by coming to work with the County of Santa Clara, you're not just taking on a job. You're joining a team of 24,000 people that are passionate about making a meaningful difference in the lives of our neighbors and making this county a better place to live. And personally, this information really does resonate with me because I had a recruiter reach out and talk about this HR analyst role. And at first, the role or the job title kind of threw me off because I typically don't have an HR background, more even recruitment, but he kind of detailed what the job is entailing itself and realized it was a great fit for me. So if it wasn't for that instance of talking on the phone with a recruiter from here, then I would have missed out on this opportunity. And, I feel really lucky that I get to support people who are doing some of the most important work in our community, from doctors, nurses, social workers, mental health therapists, environmental health scientists, public safety workers, even animal shelter veterinarians. I'm grateful for the work of all these departments do, and I find this a rewarding place to spend my days, and I'm sure you will feel the same.
Thank you so much, Taylor, for presenting this insightful information to us. I hope everyone was able to find this information helpful and you were able to take away some valuable points. And as Taylor was presenting, I was going through the chat, I was going through the Q&A. I'm glad a lot of you had a chance to drop your questions in the Q&A. If you haven't done so, don't hesitate. We have a whole team of support in the background trying to get to your questions. I know it was a lot of information presented, but really the main takeaways to me is that we have so many different types of opportunities that we post every single day. A lot of them are usually posted for a short period of time, so it's to miss it. So if you're unsure of what fits your background, just like someone who said in the chat or Q&A, I have a background in marketing and community engagement. I have a background in cybersecurity. Please make sure to go to the job interest card because we have more than 100 categories that you can select. And so when the opportunity is available, you'll get an email notification that it becomes available so you don't miss the timeline. And also, I heard from someone that how can I be competitive on my application? How can my application stand out? So I'm sure that's majority of you have the similar questions. So to me, we really want to make sure we spell everything out in the application, including the supplemental questions we ask you in your application. And for someone who asks about cybersecurity, we do have cybersecurity specialists. That's one of our roles within the county at our IT department. So there are a lot of relevant opportunities to your background. Hopefully you can find them in the categories of job interest card and subscribe to them. All right. Thank you, everyone, for dropping some emojis and your support. Now we want to open this up for questions to be answered live because we have a lot of questions submitted to us prior to this webinar as well, and some great questions being asked in Q&A. So I have my Assistant HR Director here, Michelle, here with us. Michelle, are you ready to answer some questions?
Yes, I am. I'm super excited.
All right. Perfect. All right. So there was a top asked question. I have a background in certain areas. Someone said I have a background in admin, office manager. I have a background in graphic design. So how do I find out about opportunities that matches my background? And overall, how do I find opportunities, Michelle?
Yeah, thanks for the questions. And thank you for everyone that had submitted your questions ahead of time and the really active chat that we're seeing in the Q&A for today's session as well. When people submit their job applications online, some of the feedback that I hear is there's so many supplemental questions. There's so many little areas that we have to fill in order to submit the application. That is true, but that is also an area for you to really shine in terms of your experience. Now, how do you find the jobs that match with the experience and the wonderful background that you bring to the table as you're applying for these jobs? I can't emphasize enough to be notified of the opportunities that come up as soon as they come up. So I know Taylor had covered it briefly previously, but there is a way that you can sign up for job interest notifications. So as soon as a job opportunity opens up that matches with the function that you are interested in, or in an area or department that you are interested in, you'll get notified right away via email that that opportunity is open to apply for. The other way to do it is we do have newsletters that you can sign up for based off of certain functions that we have and services we provide in the county. And we'll provide that in chat as well for you to sign up and be notified of not only opportunities, but of some great information and things that the departments are doing and spearheading in the county of Santa Clara.
Thank you for the insight, Michelle. Appreciate that. I also see a lot of questions about visa and if you have to be a citizen to qualify. So I just want to clarify with everyone, U.S. citizenship is not a requirement to be employed by the county. but candidates must have a legal right to work within the US. Anything to add to that, Michelle?
I don't. There is a question when you apply online on whether you can show proof of a legal right to work. That is something that you disclose during your application process, but you do not have to be a citizen to apply for opportunities in the county.
Thank you for the
I want to
answer.
also apologize. I want to kind of go back to the previous question. I also just wanted to emphasize, I know it's a lot. The county has so many different job descriptions or job specifications. You'll hear us say a lot that we have in the county. That really is kind of your reference guide of the different opportunities that we have in the county. And things are always named so many different titles across the board, and that's not an exception for the county. We also have a ton of different job titles for different roles. If you have time, go into our job specifications and have a good understanding of what exists in the county that really speak to you on an opportunity that you may be interested in. Because another way that you can be notified of job postings that align with your interest is to subscribe to specific job titles that really speak on what you're looking for as a career opportunity as well.
Perfect. That was a great answer. Thank you, Michelle. There was other questions about feedbacks on applications. I think a lot of people have questions about how do I get feedback on my application, especially when I was not continue to the next step of recruitment. I think that's when people get the rejection notice. How do I know if I can improve next time when I submit an application?
Yeah, the county has a unique opportunity that if you receive a rejection notice while someone is reviewing for employment standards, there is a little line in your email that says, if you have additional information, please provide it within 5 business days. That's really an opportunity as you look through the job description. I can't emphasize enough on the employment standards section of our job descriptions. That is a very good area to have a good understanding of. So if any of that is vague, I would definitely reach out to the recruiter responsible for that recruitment. Their name will be at the bottom of the email that's addressed to you to get clarification on what's being evaluated or what wasn't determined that you were able to demonstrate on your application. Employment standards are a bright line rule in terms of I saw a kind of chat previously that said, what would you have liked to have known when you had first applied for the county? I think that's something that I would have really liked to know. I usually say the biggest difference between private and public sector is there's no wiggle room necessarily on employment standards. So if an employment standard says you need 3 years of full-time experience, doing basket weaving, you need 3 years of experience, not one really great year of experience of basket weaving, but that is the requirement for the position. So keep that in mind as you're getting familiar with the opportunities that you're interested in. But again, you do have that 5 business day appeal period where you can ask and interact with the recruiter responsible for your recruitment to get clarification on the areas that you may need to be more descriptive in or provide additional insight on how your experience aligns with the position that you're applying for.
By saying that please don't feel disencouraged when you receive the rejection notice, because there are 5 business days for everyone to email us back. Feel free to ask questions such as, could you elaborate on the rejection reason? What can I submit to help my application move forward? So those are all of the questions you can ask our recruiters. Hope that answered everyone's question on that. So we also have another good question about requirement and quality, because I also see in the chat someone asked, what quality are you seeking? So what requirements does the county have on applications, Michelle? Can you elaborate that for us?
Yeah, when you look at the applications, depending on the position that you are applying for, you'll see different requirements for the position. There are some that require you to upload certification prior to submission or proof of a certain licensure. Every recruitment will also have the required countywide questions on can you demonstrate your legal right to work, as well as some just general background information so we can stay connected. Most of our correspondence is done via email. So please make sure that we don't go to your junk mail or your spam mail. So keep that in mind. And if you have any questions on whether you submitted all the necessary attachments for a particular recruitment, it'll give you an error message that you can't actually submit your application until those attachments are provided. So keep that in mind. If there are any questions as you are doing the applications or throughout the recruitment process, you can also reach out to our amazing HR team via email at hr@esa, and then we'll drop that email on the chat, as well as a phone number that you can call directly, and we can triage you to the appropriate recruiter online as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing the contact information of HR. And thanks, Tracy, for dropping that in the chat. So feel free to write that down, everyone, that email address that you can get a hold of us. Wonderful. That question has been answered, and let's move on to the next one. Interviews. So I've been getting a lot of questions about interviews, and this, I understand the information Taylor gathered for everyone was not about interviews, because we want you to focus on those two topics, county opportunities and how to improve your application. So we did not specifically talk about interviews, tips and tricks. I think we can have Michelle answer that for us. How can we prepare for interview and be competitive during interviews?
A simple, I guess, answer without going into detail, I would say practice. Practice makes perfect. Grab your friends, grab your family, grab your neighbor, grab the person you're sitting next to, and just kind of going through an interview. I think a lot of times, like myself, if I'm interviewing for a particular position or talking to somebody in public, the nerves get the best of you. So, and have a good understanding of what you're applying for. Go back to the job posting that you applied for, get a good understanding of what the definition of the position is. What department are you interviewing with? What services do they provide? And kind of go through different examples that you would like for your panelists to have in their knowledge bank when they make the decision on how to fill for the position. And then also, I think always a good trick is to have a couple questions in your back pocket, because an interview process is also both ways. Not only are the panelists interviewing you to see if you are a good fit for the position, but you're also interviewing them to see whether you think they are a good fit for what you're looking for as an employer of choice as well. So I think that's always nice to have. The other tip I would say in terms of interviewing as well is don't get discouraged. I think you can go through hundreds of interviews and different methods. It could be your second, third, fourth round of interviews with different companies. Don't let that down. Sometimes it's just not what the direction of maybe the department was going or the organization was heading. Maybe they had to reevaluate what the position was, or maybe it just wasn't a good fit with where you currently are in terms of your career. So definitely keep practicing, keep going, and don't be discouraged.
Thank you for sharing those two tips. I'm going to share my secret recipe with everyone that I haven't told anybody about before, which is my tips and tricks for a better interview. The first one is about telling stories. I will encourage all of you to write down the stories, the experience you had before, that a project you did, or you run, or you led. Write it down and try to memorize it, because stories is really powerful in interviews. When someone asks you if you have experience in this and that, you can pull out your stories to showcase that you possess that experience. And let's not say we did something, because when you say we did something as an interviewer of many years, I won't be able to tell if that's something you specifically did or your team did. So it will be more powerful to tell them it's something you did by saying I did something. So that's my secret recipe that I haven't told anybody. All right. Hope that would help you with the interviews. Amazing. We've gotten to 5 questions already, and let's get to the next one. Notifications and timeline. I've seen many of you dropping in Q&A about timelines. What are the steps? How long each step take? Someone asked, how long can I hear back from the hiring manager about scheduling the interview? So Michelle, can you tell us about the notifications? What notifications should we expect to receive during the application process?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's standard notifications that everyone will receive. Once you apply for the position, you'll get confirmation that you've applied for the position. The next one that you'll probably hear is that if you did not meet or demonstrate that you met employment standards or minimum qualifications for a certain role, you'll receive that notification that you did not meet the employment standards. The next one also can be that you're invited to an exam, whether that's a written exam or, the exam particularly tailored for that particular recruitment, and then followed by the eligible list and then referral. I always say, one of the things that also I would have loved to have known when I was applying is don't get nervous if you don't hear from us before the closing of the job posting. We do review employment standards and applications as they are being submitted for the recruitments, but we don't actually send notifications out one at a time. We do send it out at the same time for everyone that's applied to the recruitment. So we allow everyone to apply up through the closing of the job posting. So you will not receive an email regarding your applied job application until after the job posting has closed. So let's say you were very eager. It's a job that you've always wanted with the County of Santa Clara, and today's July 23rd and the job posting closed August 15th. You will not receive an email until after August 15th. So don't get nervous that you haven't heard. I also think there is confusion in terms of eligible list and referred list. Please keep in mind when we do recruitments in the county, everyone that does meet employment standards and passes the exam portion of the recruitment, we have something called an eligible list. It's a list of qualified applicants that have passed the exam process of that particular recruitment that can be referred for an interview during the duration of that particular recruitment. So don't get nervous. You're on the list of qualified candidates. If you don't get referred right away for the department, it doesn't mean that you won't be referred or a guarantee that you will be referred. It's an opportunity that you may be referred for an interview. And the best email notification that we love to send out is a referred notification. And that actually means that your name was referred over to the hiring department for an interview. And keep in mind, if you look through that notice that says you've been referred for an interview, it says if you are still interested in being interviewed for this position, please contact the hiring department within 3 business days. So please, again, check and make sure we're not going to your junk mail or your spam mail. And if you are interested in interviewing for the position, respond to the hiring department that you are interested in interviewing for the position that you've been referred for.
Sounds good. Thanks, Michelle, for talking about all of the notices. Hope that clarifies everyone's question about that. About timeline, Michelle, some of us had questioned about how soon can we hear back. Would you have any insight to that, Michelle?
It varies depending on the position and also depends on the type of update that you are looking for. Our team here, they're an amazing group of individuals. If you do have a question on the application that you submitted, please reach out to the HR email box or call asking if you can get a status update if you have not received one already. If you're looking for standard timelines to just have a good understanding of what to expect when you do see a recruitment, the minimum amount of days that we will post for a position on our open list of recruitments is 10 business days. So that gives you a good sense of how long a job posting or bulletin is up for. And then, like I said, we have that 5 business day appeal. So for people that maybe did not provide all the information on their initial application to have the opportunity to provide that additional information. So we're looking around 15 business days or so. So expect to hear around that time period. And again, not sooner than when the job posting closes itself.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying about the timeline. You know, there's another question that I've been hearing about a lot, which is about our written examinations, and sounds very nerve-wracking. And a lot of us are asking, how can I prepare for it? So there's one particular question about where are the resources, where, when, what the test is going to be. So I can answer the question about where and when, because that should be specified in the job posting you have applied for. There should be a paragraph talking about there will be a written examination taking place about certain date. So if you have questions about that, you can go back to your job posting to check the information. And how can we prepare for it and the resources? Michelle, would you have any insight to that?
Yeah, it's also on the job search toolkit and tips and tricks that we provided on written exams, but we're not. The questions that are typically asked on a written exam is going to be based on the job that you applied for. So I usually do refer applicants towards the knowledge and ability section of an exam and really be familiar of what's required in that role. The questions that are asked are going to be specifically based off of those knowledge and abilities. So you can be reassured that if you are applying for basket weaving, we're not going to ask you how to do accounting in that basket weaving course. But do familiarize yourself with the knowledge and abilities of the position itself. And then I think for most written exams, it's also, I think, nerves get the best of people during that process as well. So definitely, I would say take the steps that you need before you take the exam to be able to come to that exam with a clear mind. And it is a standardized exam if it is a written exam. So don't be alarmed when you see a question and the ABCD options to choose from.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle. To talk about the exam, that should cover majority of the question. I hope we were able to answer your question in Q&A. And I really appreciate everyone's hearts and smiley faces and taking the time to learn about our diverse career opportunities and tips and tricks to improve your application. I really hope you find this information helpful. And this is just the first episode, and we will make sure to come up with more information to share with you. So that's why I want to take a moment to ask all of you here, please share with me what topics would you like us to cover in the future webinars so we can prepare more information, help me to drop in the chat if we couldn't answer that question for you or you want to hear more in our future webinars. Anything you'd like to hear from us about? Test preparation. Absolutely, test preparation. Remote working flexibility. About resumes for jobs. Resumes for job, are you referring to how to prepare resume? Because we refer to applications when we are reviewing your applications, we mainly look at information on the application, not your resume. Be a reference. Interviewing tips and tricks. All right. Sounds good. Thank you everyone for dropping your feedback in the chat. So the slides with all of the links that you can click on, we'll make sure to send that to you via email. Those who registered, I do have your email address, so I can email that to you. And there will be a separate email to you tomorrow. It is a brief survey that will take less than 5 minutes, so you can help us improve future webinars and so we can provide more relevant and useful content for you. For any other questions or additional assistance, if we couldn't get back to you on Q&A, reach out to us. So the team's email address is deisourcing@esa.scc.gov.org. Tracy can help us drop it in the chat. So feel free to send us an email. We're all behind this email. We can see your questions when you send it to us. And if you are not already following us on all of our social media sites, you're missing out. So make sure to follow us so you can stay on top of our future events, information we're posting, opportunities we're posting. And thank you all. Thank you so much for your time. And we wish you best of luck in your job search. I'll let Michelle and Taylor say bye to everyone.
Thank you so much for everyone joining today. Again, super excited to see all the questions and live chat that we have in the background. Thank you to the team that's answering all of those. Again, if you haven't been able to get your questions answered, we'll follow up after this. And if we haven't been able to connect, I know the team is actively out there connecting with all of y'all. Definitely sign up for one of our newsletters, or definitely look at our calendar of events, and hope to see you in person at some of those as well.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. I'm accessible on LinkedIn as well. If you want to connect with me on there, you can always ask me a question there. But I hope the information I shared with you can help you better learn our process about what we're looking for in applications, as well as the process overall and our interviews and what that entails. So I hope that was helpful to you. Like I said, connect with me on LinkedIn if you need anything else on my end as well.
Great. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, all of our support team in the background for answering the question. Wish everyone a great afternoon. See you next time. Bye, everyone.